What is a lesson series and why is it called a series? A lesson series includes one target task. This one is describe pain to a medical practitioner. The target task acts as the goal of the lesson series, or the task you hope learners will be able to do in the real world. Then, the lesson series outlines a series of subtasks, which are smaller tasks that the target task involves. For each subtask, the lesson series identifies a language focus, classroom procedures, and instructional resources. Finally, the lesson series identifies one or more assessment tasks. The assessment task may be a version of one of the subtasks or a classroom version of the target task. It's called a lesson series because it typically involves more than one instructional session. You can develop a lesson series all at once or bit by bit. In this one, I only developed the first two subtasks. When you plan a lesson series, you have a series of procedures from start to finish focused on a single target task. The unit outline and the lesson series builders are linked. When you create a unit outline, Quartz generates a lesson series for each target task, ready for you to develop. I'll show you. I created this unit outline with two target tasks, so Quartz generated two lesson series. Let's find them. This is my lesson series homepage. It lists all my lesson series. The name of each lesson series is its target task. I'll click on the date heading to order my list by date. And here are the target tasks from the unit outline I showed you. Let's open this one. This is the first web page of the lesson series builder. The left panel shows me all the steps of the builder. The white markers show me what step I'm on. The first step is to identify the related unit and the target task. The lesson series is always named the target task, which is the goal of the lesson series. Both the related unit and the target task are already populated for me because I had identified these on the unit outline I created earlier. If I were developing a new lesson series, I would have to add a target task here. All of this is explained within the question marks. I can read them by clicking on the question mark for each step. To continue, I'll save and continue. The next step is to identify subtasks. Since I already identified 4 of them in my unit outline, they're pre-entered here. If I adapt them, they'll automatically be adapted in my unit outline too. If we click here, we can see what my undeveloped lesson series looks like so far. Then we can click on the edit icon to go back to the builder and begin fleshing it out. The next step is to focus on my first subtask. The subtask I'm working on is displayed here to keep me on track. I could also click on a magnifying glass to see what I entered previously. Next, I select a CLB competency related to the subtask. This is already pre-entered, though I could change it if I wanted to. Next, I identify a language focus. I can enter them or check out the samples for ideas. The samples are organized into 4 knowledge areas and 2 CLB ranges. I'll enter my own language focus, which I'll copy and paste from another document. Next, I describe my classroom procedures. To organize them, I can give each part of my procedures a heading. Then I can type my procedures or cut and paste them from another document. I can easily format my text if I want to. Then I can add instructional resources. I can add one of my own, or I can check out the samples. There are sample resources in 7 themes and 3 CLB ranges. Then resources are grouped into 3 types. Several titles are listed. When I hover over any title, its details appear in a window. All the resources are free and available online. I can even visit a resource by clicking on its URL. This allows me to review a resource before I decide to use it. To include the resource, I click in the box, then close the window. Then the resource gets transferred into the builder. In the finished product, the URL is also displayed. I've gone ahead and entered more procedures for this subtask, so I'll click on Save and Continue. Now Quartz prompts me to work on my second subtask. I repeat the same process of fleshing out procedures for this and the rest of the subtasks on my lesson series. Keep in mind that at any time you can open the toolbox to refer to the CLB. You don't need to complete a lesson series all at once. I've done 2 of my subtasks, but I want to skip subtask 3 and 4 for now and develop the assessment task. I can either click on Save and Continue until I get there, or I can navigate there from the left panel. The task is already entered from my unit outline, so I'll continue. Now I select a related CLB competency and assessment criteria. I can write my own criteria or select samples. There are samples for each skill in different CLB ranges. To use the samples, click in the box, then close the window to transfer the sample to the builder. I've selected a few criteria samples and reworded them so they fit with my task and what learners have practiced. Next, I can add notes about how I'll assess, and the final step allows me to select a feedback form. If I do, Quartz will generate one for me to finish in the assessment form builder. Finally, I'll click on Save. And Quartz produces my lesson series. I've finished the first 2 subtasks and can complete the procedures for the other subtasks later. This lesson series will be saved on my Quartz account. If I want to, I can also print it. I can even save it as a PDF on my own computer by selecting the Change button and then selecting Save as PDF.